Hello and welcome to episode 98 of Some Answers. My name is Samantha, and if you're a first-time listener, hello and welcome. And if you're a long-time listener, hey guys. As you can hear in my voice, I'm much better. I sounded like I was dying in the last podcast or starting up a jazz career. But this time, you know what I've done? I've gone and got a flu shot. And I encourage all people to do so. I'm hoping that it will cover me this winter season. But yes, don't be a hero. Get a jab or be drab. Yeah, I said that. Okay, so let's get straight into the business before I talk about this episode. I am on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. It's just Some Answers Podcast, and you can read all the things that I'm doing with the podcast, but also things that God's teaching me in the week, which is a lot because I have a lot to learn. If you want to become a patron subscriber, that means for financially supporting the podcast, you can give as little as $1 per podcast. Just go to Patreon, that's patreon.com/Some Answers, and you can give as little as $1 per podcast, and all the money that you give goes straight back into the podcast. You can start and stop at any time. And if that's something you'd love to do, then go for it. Okay, let's get into this episode. This is episode 98. I'm getting very close to 100, but it is with Dami Im. And this has been in the works for 4 years. 4 years I've been trying to sit down with this girl and talk to her, and it was absolutely delightful. I couldn't believe that I was sitting there talking to her, and she was a gem. She'd done press that day. She'd had a lot of other interviews, and yet she came and sat down and was fresh and lovely and fun. She made me sing, which I'm not a fan of, but I wanted to get her to sing, but that didn't happen. Well, maybe. Actually, it did a little bit. But yeah, we talk about all things that I love, like Eurovision, and as this podcast has come out, Eurovision has just completed. We talk about that. We talk about her faith. We talk about so many things, and I really appreciated her time. And it was really cool at the end when she was like, she said that she enjoyed the interview. And I don't know if she was just being nice, but I just took it as, hey, maybe this is something that I'm good at. And I just really appreciated it, her time and her honesty, and all stories are precious, and I just appreciate her time. So without much further delay, this is episode 98 with Dami Im. Continue to rate and review on iTunes, and thank you so much for listening. Hello and welcome, and I am sitting opposite Dami Im. Is that how you say it?
Dami.
Dami.
Yes.
Okay. How many people say Dami?
Oh, Dami, Danny, Denis, everything.
Everything. Okay. So, your parents obviously gave that name to you.
Yes.
So,
Going right to the back.
Yeah. Have you said, Mum, Dad, why didn't you pick something else? Or you like it, obviously.
Yeah, well, I liked it. I think they picked it because it was meant to be an easy name internationally. And I think it is, but also people still get confused. But yeah.
Is it short for something?
No, that's my name. In Korean, it's Im, you say the surname first, and then, so it goes Im Dami. Yeah, so Dami Im.
So were you born in Australia?
No, I was born in Korea. We moved to Australia when I was 9 years old.
Could you speak English when you first came here?
No, not at all. Well, I mean, I studied a little bit, but I couldn't understand when people spoke to me.
Sure. So how did you learn the language?
I just lived and went to school. And
See, I think it's amazing. Anyone who can learn a language. Currently, I have an app called Learn Chinese in 24 Hours. Now,
how do you do that?
You can't. And I don't know if it's my age, or I cannot seem to retain the words. Like I just cannot seem to.
Oh,
it's really tricky, and I'm struggling now. The app has given me false hope, because 24 hours.
That's impossible. You can probably say a few words like I love you, hello.
Ni hao is
Ni hao.
Ni hao ma is
How are you? I studied a little bit, but I've done more than 24 hours, but I cannot speak it.
Thank you.
Wan Shang Hao
see.
is.
Well, I wonder if watching children's program might help me. There was like these whole lot of apps saying, learn Chinese with the children's apps, and I was thinking maybe I need to go down that path.
Maybe, but I think you really need to like speak it with natives, like be in that environment. And I think for me, like I had to go to school and like survive every day, so I had to learn. Otherwise, I just sit there and while everybody else has fun. So.
Okay. So are you an only child?
No, I have a younger brother.
Okay. Did you guys grow up in a Christian household?
Yeah, we did. My mum was a Christian as well, since, my grandparents were Christians, and my dad dad is Christian, but he didn't really go to church regularly back then. Now he does. Mm-hmm. So yeah, when we came to Australia, we went to a Korean church, and that was sort of like a thing, like when you go to a foreign country, it's really good to have, a community where they understand you. Obviously, because mum couldn't speak English either, so it was good to have that support as well. So it was like,
Did it
church.
feel like home?
It did.
As close as home is going to feel in another country.
Yeah.
But surrounded by your own native tongue, I guess. It's
Yeah.
just going, shivers.
Yeah, and they sort of did that, like helped us a lot in settling into this country, and they fed us every Sunday, like Korean food.
So good.
So it's like, I guess it was really good for new immigrants.
Sure. What did you want to be when you grew up?
It always changed, but I think I was going to be a concert pianist.
Okay.
I was
cool.
Classically trained
Since
on the
what
piano.
age?
So I started lessons when I was 5, and when I came to Australia, I was really, I couldn't speak English, but I was quite good at playing the piano.
Yeah.
And so all the kids at school, they thought I was dumb when I couldn't speak, but they saw me play and they'd go, "Oh wow,
she's a genius.
She's actually good at something."
She can't speak, but my goodness, she's a genius.
Yeah. So I just assumed, like, I didn't want to be a concert pianist, I don't think, but I just thought that's what I'll be because that's what I'm good at, and I just believed that was going to happen to me.
So you still play now?
Yeah, yes.
But do you play classical?
I do from time to time just for fun, but I don't like practice like I used to, if you play classical, you got to practice every day and do your scales and all of that, and I don't really do that anymore. I just play whatever I like and my music and all of that, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing, the scales are so boring. And it takes...
it is.
It takes forever. And then you finally are like, hey, I like playing this. And then when you can start to play your own stuff, it's really quite exciting.
Yeah. I guess you got to have the patience to get there. But yeah, no, I just thought, I'm going to be this classical pianist,
When did
performing.
you know you could sing, though?
I was about 13 or 15, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And I decided, that I was going to record myself on my computer, and I thought, I'm good at this.
Tech savvy, I can do this.
I recorded myself sing one of like a Korean pop song.
Sure.
And I listened back, and that's when I discovered that I actually sucked. Like I couldn't sing.
No way, I don't believe you.
No, it's true.
Legit?
I was like, wow, okay. So
what was the problem? Was it your
just
pitch? Was it the timing?
Oh, no, pitch and timing, like I know because that's music, I already know. But just the tone, it just didn't sound nice, and I was like straining and whatever. So I was shocked initially, but then I really wanted to do it.
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
really loved it. So
Yeah.
that became like my obsession and my hobby. So I used to just like record myself over and over again until I sounded, a little bit better each time. And after
so you
years,
self-taught yourself how to sing.
Yeah. I was just obsessed with it. And
I'm a little in awe here because sometimes you can practice it, but some people are bad and they practice and they're not any better. Like they're just still bad, but you must have been so obsessed with the sound that you were like, no, I got to do it like. How did you know how to move your...
I didn't know. I just tried my best and I
just wung it.
Yeah, kept doing it. And I think, after a few years, you do improve. And then...
One would hope.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Did you do karaoke? Tell me.
I used to, yes. I loved karaoke.
Okay, let's talk about karaoke ballads. What was your go-to?
I sang lots of... apart from K-pop music,
of course.
I sang like Mariah Carey was like... It was really hard.
Could you get up to that?
No. Skip those parts. But,
okay.
That was... if you can sing Mariah, you can sing anything. But
I agree. That and Celine.
Yes.
Celine was my go-to. At 9, I decided to sing Power of Love.
Oh,
now,
not easy.
Not easy. Don't think I'd made it. Don't think I actually did it really well. People were giving sympathetic claps. But it's good that you did that you were confident enough to do that. Did you do it in front of people or in the comfort of your own home?
But sometimes I go with friends, but then I was so obsessed that sometimes I'd go by myself. Like, I was that crazy. Like, I wanted...
in a booth by yourself?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know that there are booths around the shopping centres now where people can do their own karaoke in the middle of the shopping centre? But it's like a telephone booth with a curtain. So you just see their legs from the outside.
And you hear them?
Well, I don't know. I've not tried it yet.
Wow.
Maybe that's something I should be doing.
Okay. Oh, I've never seen that before.
Well, I didn't see it, and then it had a big shop and everything, and then that closed down. So now it's back down to the little booths. But
yeah. I went to the Philippines recently, and in a shopping centre, they actually had karaoke, but it was like out in the open. Like everyone, the whole shopping centre could hear them sing.
Okay. Even if you didn't want to.
Yeah, I guess if you don't want people to hear it, don't do it.
Sure.
But
and if you don't want to listen to them, carry on walking.
Yeah, but you can't
move to the next room. Go buy something.
But in that whole shopping centre, you could hear it like everywhere you went. So it's, I don't know. It was an interesting design.
So when you left high school, did you still want to do classical?
I had lots of thoughts and questions in year 12. I was like, what? Do I really want to do this? But my mum sort of, told me, you need to at least finish a degree in classical piano.
Always have a backup plan.
Well, yeah, have a backup plan, and I didn't. It wasn't my passion, but I also knew that was my strength, and I guess I went into that, and after university, that's when I went, okay, now I can do whatever I want to do.
So what did you do at uni?
So I studied classical piano.
Yeah. So you have a degree in, what's it called?
It's called Bachelor of Music, and then majoring in performance piano.
Where did you go?
University of Queensland.
Very cool. So then when you finished that, did everyone say, now you're going to do your dip ed, be a teacher?
I thought about that.
And you're like, no.
I considered that, definitely.
Listen,
it's one of my options.
I just want to clarify, that is not a terrible option to go down.
No, I was actually
just
excited
for my listeners
about
out
it.
there who have actually done a dip ed.
No, definitely not. I was excited. Like, I actually got the application form for grad dip ed.
Sure.
And, I was really looking forward
that
to
application.
it. And then I thought, you know what? I only get one chance at life, and I want to try something that really excites me. And I thought I could always go back to dip ed if I wanted to. I that was my thought process, and I decided to try a master's in contemporary voice.
Yeah. All right.
And
how many years is that?
That's that's a year and a half.
Okay.
And so I auditioned for that, and somehow I got in, and that's
What do you mean
where
somehow you got
and that's
in?
how that's where I first got my training at.
Really?
Yeah, my masters, and
A lot of those singing lessons. I did singing lessons for a while with his teacher, and he'd get you to do like an exercise, and then he'd stop to rest your voice. But it was just me and him and the pianist in the room, and it was awkward. Like, he'd just stare at me, I'd stare back at him.
Right.
There'd be the cricket moments, the cough, and I'd be like, this is, oh my goodness. And I would do an hour, and and it was just painful. Was that a similar experience to you with your teachers?
No, I really enjoyed my lessons.
You liked your lessons?
Because I wanted to learn. You know, I didn't have a teacher. I taught myself, and when something didn't work out, I had to guess. Like, I didn't know. No one told me you have to change this. It was just me trying, and sometimes I couldn't fix things. But, you know, having a teacher that know what's going on, it was really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
As a singer, do you have to insure your voice?
No.
No. I just didn't know if that's a real thing. Some artists
I'm sure
insure their voice.
I don't know.
I think Mariah Carey insured her legs, but that could be a...
Do you think so?
It could be a rumour. I'm not sure. I think I read that somewhere. And I just wanted to know if you insured your voice.
No. I should look into that.
No,
maybe,
don't do that. Don't listen to me.
How I make my living.
Okay, so when you're at uni, was that when you discovered your faith in Jesus, or were you always sort of chugging along with that, or?
Well, I sort of, I guess I met Jesus during my sort of high school years.
Sure.
When, you know, went to church camps, and, you know, and we would have those, you know, moments, and I go, oh, wow, like, I guess Jesus loves me, and we believe in Jesus, and through him we go to heaven, and all of that. But then, so I always had that faith, you know, and it was a big part of my life. But I think, yeah, for me, it's like a process of really thinking about what that means to me. You know, like, I know it. I know what happened, what Jesus did, but you don't necessarily have it all like applied to your life until you have to.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it's ever changing and evolving too, though.
It really is, yeah.
Because realistically, you can't say you're on fire all the time for Jesus. And I think there are different seasons where it's ebbs and flows. And there are sometimes where you're like, I totally believe this with all my heart. And other times you're like, I'm sorry, what? And you're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And for me, my experience was I really, like I said before, the Korean church was like a home, you know. And I felt comfortable there with, you know, people that spoke Korean and spoke, you know, knew the culture and knew my family. And so I sort of hid, you know, inside the church. And then when I go to school, like, for me, like, oh, this is like the evil place. And then come back to the church, be like, oh, I can relax. So in a way, I was quite sheltered, I think, because of that. And then now coming into like real life and working with non-Christians and, you know, actually being out in the world, this is like, that's where it started to really get serious. And I go, wow, like, what does my faith mean in this actual world? How do I live it out? You know,
authentically, and without alienating people.
Yes.
Because some people could just be like, this doesn't seem like something I'd want to tap into. And it's like, how do I represent him in a way that people can say, hey, actually, I want that in my life?
Yeah, and
it's always a juggling.
It's a tricky thing, and you know, I'm still sort of figuring out, you know, how I do it best. And
I think everyone's figuring it out how to do it best. Yes, I think so. It's like anything, you just keep constantly working at it. And it is something that you have to keep questioning. And it's like a relationship. That's the only thing that we can hold on to that's tangible. If you don't work at your relationship, if you don't keep it evolving, it will eventually die. With a relationship with anyone that I'm saying, you know, you need to put in the effort. You need to learn about them. There are seasons where you're going great. It's tumultuous. How do I say I'm with them? You know, without being like, I'm only with them, you know, like we're all together. So I think it can ebb and flow.
Yeah, and well, for me, the experience was, when I was with the Korean church, it was always sort of us against them. And I think like a lot of the church friends and myself included, we didn't know a lot about the world.
Sure, of
course. You know, we just, that was it, church was it, and we didn't really know what other people were thinking, what they were interested in, what they were actually looking for. So how can you actually represent Jesus when you don't know them, you know?
So do you think that was a bit detrimental then for you, like stepping into the world?
Well, at first I was really hopeful and excited because I thought, you know, now is my chance to go and, you know, change the world in the name of Jesus.
Yeah. How's that working for you?
However, but I came to the world and I realized, you know, I know nothing about people outside the church. And, you know, how can I make friends when I've never tried to listen to them or anything like that? So then I spent a lot of time with, you know, non-believers and you know, then I started to question, you know, like how does the two even relate? Like how do I talk to them? And like it was just really tricky for me. Yeah. And I think I sort of moved away from the church a little bit because of that confusion for a while. Yeah. And then more recently, I started going back to my church. It's a different church, and you know, a lot of a lot of people are, you know, around my age, and they have similar questions like me. Yeah. But what I realized was that, like, you know, the world looks like they're confident and they know what they want and all of that, but I realized Christians really, you know, the right people, I guess, not every Christian, but Christians are the ones that really know sort of the meaning and the purpose of life. And I didn't really fully grasp that before when I was just inside and sheltered. Yeah.
It's hard. And the thing is, it is, like I keep saying, it is a journey. And I think for me, in my normal life, I work in another job with non-Christians all the time. And I'm so grateful for that because it takes me out of my bubble. Yes. And it shows me a broken, hurting world that needs Jesus. And I think that if I can represent him well in that world and allow people to feel comfortable enough to talk to me about it and so on, then great. However, it comes at a great responsibility because people know I'm Christian. So you have to do a good job representing. Yes. And if I have a bad day, I think, oh, shivers. Do they think, oh, you know, you say you're this Christian, but you just had a bad moment, you know? And I think being gracious on myself and saying, look, this is a constant work in progress. Yes. I think that's the only way we can do it.
But I think it's also helpful. Well, what helped me was, you know, like I always had this pressure that I had to be like this perfect representation. And I was like the role model. People look at me and they look Jesus and like I have to be this witness. And that was a big burden and it was suffocating me.
Because it's on your own strength.
Yes. And, you know, what I realized was sometimes people, non-believers, they appreciate and they want to listen to me a lot more when I'm being honest. Yes. That I'm just the same weak person as anyone else, but I put my trust in Jesus. It's not that I have all the powers and it's me. I'm just the same person with the same questions and the struggles, but I have Jesus who I can depend on and I trust him. Yeah. You know, and I have weak moments and difficult times just like anybody else. And I realizing that has not only made me feel better and more kind of, have more freedom and joy. But also I think for the people around me in the world, they don't feel like I'm trying to pretend to be somebody.
Yes. Yeah.
And be this self-righteous person, which sometimes Christians, they don't mean to, but they come across that way.
Yeah, that's so true. Hey, I want to keep moving through just because I realise I don't have a lot of time with you. So let's move to the X Factor. Is it called the X Factor?
Yes.
Is it X Factor?
X Factor.
It's not the X Factor.
I think it's the X Factor.
Okay. What made you go, hey, you know what? I'm going to audition for this.
Well, so I finished my degree in Masters of Contemporary Voice, and I wanted to sing and perform, and I tried that. I sang at churches and little jazz clubs and here and there.
Yeah.
It was really hard, and everybody kept telling me you should audition for X Factor or all these other shows. And I just thought, I don't need to. I'm fine the way I am. And I just didn't. Yeah. And I said no. And part of it was because I was really scared that it could go wrong.
Yes. On national television.
Exactly.
And what if you're like, I think I'm good, and then you're not?
Yes. And, I know people can be really harsh and they could edit things and make you sound really stupid and all of that, and that was a huge fear and a big risk.
Absolutely.
But one day my husband Noah, he said, well, you're always just taking the safe routes and you don't want to
bold words, Noah.
you don't want
bold words.
You don't want to go out of your comfort zone. And I was like,
all right, Noah, come here and say that to me.
Really? Okay, wow. I was shocked when he said that.
Does he not normally say those kind of bold things to you?
Not always.
Okay.
I mean, you can't. Yeah.
You're just like, wow, all right. So you did. You listened to Noah.
So I said, okay, well, that's true, and I need to do that. And I did. I put in my application and went with it.
Did you have to do a tape? How did it go?
No, there wasn't a tape. There was like a preliminary like audition in front of
sure.
I think the producers, and they call a bunch of you back to do it in front of people, the judges, and I went and not knowing what's going to happen, and I mean I went in not expecting to win or anything, like be in the final. No, like I didn't even think that. I just thought, maybe I just give it a go.
But a lot of people don't, like, you can hope it, but I don't really think there's a lot of people who are like, you know what, I'm going to win this.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to nail this. Nailed it. Like, there's no one who does that. So there's always the hope in there. Did you find that when you got on stage, people were expecting you to sound differently?
Yeah, because you know what, I was so used to, up until that point, used to singing at churches where like they're a lot more welcoming, and I say something and people laugh, they'd be like, she's sweet.
She's so sweet.
I sing something, that was lovely, dear. That was what I was used to.
Sure.
So I went on that stage and I said something, and I was expecting like a, welcoming laughter. But
it was like
everyone
crickets.
was, rolling their eyes. And that was super awkward. I was like, wow.
And you were like, okay.
Okay, yeah. So
but then you sung. You opened those jaws of yours and you let out a giant note, and they were like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then they were smiling and clapping and cheering.
Yeah. And all turned around and...
So you won that.
Went well.
And from there, then did you get the record deal straight away, or how does that work?
Yeah, so when you win, you get signed to Sony, which is where we are right now.
Yes, it is where we are. But the fact that you've been able to maintain it, do you know, like there's a lot of people that win singing competitions, and I'm not going to go into where are they now, but like it is like, where are they now? And you've been able to maintain it. And from there, you've been able to do great things like one of my favourite things, Eurovision.
Oh, really?
Really? let me tell you that not every, but we used to have Eurovision parties.
Really?
We did Eurovision bingo.
Yes.
And so people would be assigned a country, and then on your card, if it was like a key change, you got a point. Mullet dress, point.
I love
Wind
that.
machine, point. Spray tan, point. And it was amazing. So when the fact that you got onto this show, and not only got onto it, did pretty well. How was that? Was that just surreal?
It was like, I can't even explain how amazing that whole thing was. It was just like I was in another world. It was like someone said, like, it's like one of the songwriters that came with me, he was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I just died and woke up again and I'm here. Yes, precisely. That's what it felt like.
That is what it felt like.
It's another world.
But like, you did that, and it just was amazing and a great opportunity for you to tour, and then you went and did something for Compassion.
Yeah. So
let's talk about that for a second,
yeah.
Because how did you process that, where you were like, but God, I've just got this. I came second. Thank goodness you didn't come first. Is it when you came first you have to host it? Or we can't come first as Australia?
Oh, I think if you win, then you got to bring it to your own country, but then...
Sure, but we are not...
Australia, they wouldn't bring it to Australia.
No.
We would have had to host it in another country, which is, long story. But
oh, shit.
Yeah, no, that was a really amazing story. And I can really say I felt like God really planned the whole thing, because I planned the Compassion trip with, everybody.
Yeah.
Before Eurovision was even in my radar, that was locked in, the date to go to Uganda and visit my child.
Do all that for Compassion.
Yeah, so it was just locked in, and then Eurovision happened to be...
And Mr. Eurovision knocked on the door and said, Dami, can you please...
Yes, and then so after... And you know what? When they were announcing the results, everybody thought I was going to win for a while, and of course I came second.
Because your song was amazing and you did so well.
Yeah. So when all the results were coming in, and Australia kept getting the top points.
Oh dear.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And inside of me, I had to plan a speech, and I was freaking out, and I had written out a little note saying I was going to talk about Compassion. I was going to say, I think I won because, I want people to know about the work Compassion does in Uganda. That was written out. Unfortunately, I didn't get to say the speech, or fortunately, I don't know which one. But I honestly thought, wow, okay, this is like a perfect opportunity for people to know more about what Compassion does. And I guess, Compassion is a Christian organization, openly. And I just thought, like, this is a great way.
But like, how were your management? Were they going, oh great, do Compassion? Like, for them, you touring after coming second in Eurovision is the cash cow. Is the one that's going to bring in the big bucks. How are they handling that situation?
I think you can't say they were, completely happy with my decision. But, I mean, I had been telling them the whole time, like, it's got to happen. And they knew if my manager said, no, you're not doing that, then they knew I would be really, really, really upset. So, yeah, they didn't touch that, which...
Is it because...
Yeah. So.
Can you get very angry? Are you a very angry person? Or?
Yes, I just smash things and turn tables. No, not so much.
How very diva of you.
No. I mean, they were good in that sense. They wanted to do what was right for me.
Sure.
And I'm thankful for that.
Yes. Coming from the glitz and glamour of Eurovision, then to going to Uganda, did that just break your heart when you see like I said, the glitz and glamour, and then you're going to Uganda where people are like struggling to live?
Yeah, it was quite, just confronting. Yeah. It's just this huge slum, and kids just walking down between these alleys, and there's this water flowing, and apparently kids drown there whenever there's rain because, you know, like the parents aren't home to look after them. Obviously, they got to work, make ends meet.
Yeah.
And this water is sewage water from a hospital nearby. And, then the stench was just, oh, my gosh. And, it's really hard to talk about it. But, you know, it's just horrible just being there. You know, and some people live there. I was there for a few days, but, you know, imagine living there as a child. But I met my sponsor child, Jovia. She's a really bubbly kind of girl. You know, like normally the kids are really shy and they don't want to talk to you. But she was like, once she got to know me, she was just like tickling me and playing like pranks on me. Like she was so amazing. Like she has this big personality. And, you know, even though she lived in the slums, because of compassion, she gets to go to school, wear her uniform, get her education, learn to speak, you know, English and do, you know, maths and, you know, like she has this hope. Her whole family has hope because she has a future.
Yeah. It's just, it would be, I think a part of you would never really kind of leave that, what you saw, you know. I think a part of you would always carry with you what you experienced and what you saw.
I always think about it, like, because, you know, when I'm doing my performances, you know, I get to wear the most, you know, beautiful, expensive dresses and wear jewelry and get hair and makeup done, all of that. But then, and then, you know, like I worry about my chart position and, you know, those things in life, and you get so caught up on it. But then that's, you know, those times I try and remember these kids living in these conditions, you know, and I shouldn't sweat the small things. It's such tiny things that we sweat about sometimes that don't really matter at the end of the day, you know.
So how do you keep yourself in check with that?
I guess it's good to keep in touch with my church, like keep going to my church and have that support network around me that remind me my actual purpose.
Sure,
you know,
and your identity.
Identity, yeah, because it's so easy to forget when you're like really focused on your career. It's just like it's a endless race, and you know, for me, like it's really easy to forget the whole point.
How are you with social media? Because like for me, even on social media, if I see a few people like or comment or whatever, I'm like, cool. And I really feed off that. You would have a lot more people saying they like you, and I'm sorry to say probably don't like you very much, and say these comments and make these assumptions about you or whatever. How do you process that?
Oh, I do get upset from time to time.
I would assume that you would.
I'm not going to lie. Like I read all the comments, or most comments anyway. I go through them.
Is that
like
helpful?
It's not. It really is not. But I can't help it. You know, like
I think we're drawn to it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't read comments on a page, you know, like that someone else posted, and know there probably will be more criticism than you know, compliments. Like I read comments that's on my post where I know most people are supportive, like 99% of the time, and they're my fans. But yeah, I guess it's good to stay away from the negative comments, and also like I just gotta keep in touch with reality. Like the people that actually care about me and their opinion is what matters, not, you know, strangers really. They think they know me, but they don't.
Yeah. But in theory, I mean, we can look at it and say, that's the answer.
Yes,
but I mean,
bingo.
I'm sure that it's hard for you to constantly navigate how you're doing in life and what you feel about God and your faith and stuff. And then to be under like a microscope, well, I don't know if it feels like that, but like, I'm sure do you get pepperized?
That sounds delicious.
Pepperoni. I think I just made up a word.
Oh, those pepperizing people.
But you get taken
paparazzi.
But you get those you get photos of you and stuff like that. So it would be definitely.
Well, you know, these days it's not just those professional
it's people with a
paparazzis.
phone.
Yeah, everybody can be a paparazzi. They can take snaps of anybody. I mean, it's not just me. It's like everyone. Anyone can be like stalked and, you know, published these days. So I think it's an issue like everybody has to deal with, but, you know.
Yeah, I think is the mantra that I tell myself, not that I get paparazed very much.
I love that
but
one.
I have to just tell myself that I am accepted, I am significant, and I am secure in Christ. And I think that even in my little tiny world, I can find social media telling me otherwise, and I just have to be, no, you are significant. It's like in The Help. What did she say? You are beautiful. You are smart. I can't remember. What is The Help?
What's this?
You know the movie The Help? Have you seen it?
No.
Don't watch it. It's very sad.
Oh, really?
But this lady just keeps repeating this mantra to this girl. Like, it's like you have to tell yourself and then listen to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's very, very...
Wow.
It's very important.
Yeah.
So how's Noah? Is he good?
He's good. He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. He's studying at uni.
You guys just love to
Part-time.
study.
Yeah. And yeah, he's part-time work, part-time study. And he does all my work that I don't want to do, like all the paperwork.
I thought he was responding to fans.
No. No, oh yeah, he does sometimes, like on his account.
Okay, so to stick with the time, because I know I don't want to go over time and everything, and make sure that you're doing it.
That's okay.
It's okay. Should we just keep talking until she comes in?
Yeah.
Okay, I have so many other questions.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
No, let's
All
keep
right.
going.
Okay, so at the moment, are you releasing you've released a new album? Are you on tour? Tell me about that. Tell me as if I know nothing.
When's this thing?
This is coming out in June. First,
Oh, okay.
15th first.
Oh, really? June?
Yeah.
We're in April. I mean, we're in March.
I was like, April?
So it's coming out in June, in 3 months.
Oh, gosh, I can't remember.
Or May, after May.
Maybe? Yeah. Maybe May 15th.
Right.
Yeah, May
Okay.
15th.
So my
Is
tour
your-
would have finished.
No,
maybe.
shivers.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, but you've got an album people can buy.
Yeah.
What's the album?
So I recorded this album in Nashville.
Nashville?
Yes, I love that city.
Oh, I've not been there before, but I imagine I would love it.
You will love. I mean, do you like music?
I love music.
Yes, there's live music just everywhere.
So you just get
It's
inspired.
amazing. It's so inspiring, and I got to work with some of the world's top musicians, which is just amazing. And yeah, this is an album where it takes me back to my roots before my fame and
Is
my
it a
X
bit of
Factor.
K-pop?
No. It's more
I'm sorry.
like because it's me at the piano and the keyboard with a bit of a jazz feel. It's not like a crazy full-on jazz album, but it's got a jazz flavor to it, which I'm really into. And yeah, I just wanted to take it back to somewhere, like the roots, and I didn't really get to do much of that after X Factor.
Sure. Were the songs written for you?
So I have 2 originals that I wrote, and one of them I co-wrote, and then other ones are like jazz standards, like Nina Simone.
Sure.
My Funny Valentine, Summertime, Summertime. And the reason. All the.
I'm sorry, I don't know that song. You're going to have to
You
sing it from
don't?
the beginning to the end.
Of course you do.
I'm sorry, you're just going to have to start from the beginning to the end. My child loves the song Smile. Is that Smile?
Yes.
Did you write that?
I did in Sweden.
She loves it, and she has a little head bopper, and
Oh,
she goes.
how cute.
And then when you play it with a ukulele, I mean, I just love the ukulele, and I feel like
Me
it's
too.
the most underrated instrument.
It makes you so happy, doesn't
it?
When you hear it, it's just so bright and
You need to do
sunny.
the Pixar cover of Love Are You. Do you know that one?
Which one? You sing it.
No. Don't do that to me.
Go on.
No, it's the I have a dream, I hope will come true, 'cause you're here with me. You know that one? No?
Sorry, I don't. That's
Thanks,
a nice
Dami.
tune.
Thank you. I'm just embarrassed, and we're ending the interview. No, but it's a beautiful one, and it's just on YouTube. Look it up. It's
I will.
Lava You, and it's with a ukulele, and it's so cute.
Oh,
It's so cute.
I love the uke. Yeah.
Okay, so I finish every interview with the question, why the heck do you believe in Jesus? Do you like that?
That's a great
Why
question.
the heck?
Why the heck do I believe in Jesus?
The same for you. Why the heck do you believe in Jesus?
Okay, I'm going to think about this because this is an important question.
It is an important question.
Well, let me... I believe in Jesus because for me, without Jesus, there is no meaning or purpose in my existence. And I would be completely lost without knowing Jesus. And I didn't really think about this and this question until, I guess, more recently, where I got to spend more time, I guess, away from Jesus, and I guess people away from Jesus, and that's when I really saw that, we need him. It's not just some religion. It's not, some security you need. It's like we're just like pieces of meat without him and his love. And it's just so good when you know God who loves you and actually knows you deeply, and he still loves you. Yeah.
He knows what people don't see, and he still signs on. I always think if him and I were in a relationship, he would have broken up with me.
Yes. Agreed. Me too.
But he holds on. He holds fast. And
yeah, and what I realize is it's not me holding on so much, it's him, and it's trusting him rather than me, because I'm so stupid sometimes, like so weak and so vulnerable, and God knows that, and he still he doesn't give up. And I guess before I knew that, I always thought it was my struggle and my effort to try and stick onto God, and I was always failing.
Like a post-it note, which, by the way, does not stick for very long.
No, that's a great reference. But yeah, and it was always tiring for me, knowing my shortcomings and how weak I was, because I always felt like I had to be like strong and good enough and like doing my bit like a soldier. But then I realized, it's him, like it's his perfectness, not mine at all.
Do you find it harder to stay connected to God because your life is comfortable, and I say it in air quotes? Do you find that it's harder to? Because some people say following God is easy when everything is comfortable.
Oh, definitely not easier. No,
Yeah.
It's harder because when it's comfortable, when things are going well, you think, oh, it's all me, I can do this. And yeah, I mean, when there's a hardship, when there's a heartbreak, that's when you go, oh my God, I need God. And yeah, I do find myself forget him more when things are going well, and I'm just like excited about me. But yeah, but I just see how empty everything is if there was no God in your life. It's just empty. Like everything is so meaningless.
Was it meaningless? Is it in the Bible where
Yeah.
it talks about like things are meaningless? I used to use that as an excuse for not doing my maths. You can imagine what kind of child I was. And I'd be like, it says it's meaningless. Why am I doing this? And the teacher would be like, sit in your seat. Stop talking.
Gosh.
But I think it's true. I like what you're saying about also having that sort of anchor, that perspective, and having people who remind you,
yes,
and encourage you.
Yes, and I think you're so right. We can never do it on our own, no matter how strong you are. If you don't have the support around you, people with the same belief and knowledge and the relationship with God, like praying for you and really reminding you, then you can't, like your fire's going to die down. It's, yeah, and I realize that.
Okay, so let's have a last plug of the album. So what's it called?
It's called I Hear a Song.
I Hear a Song.
I Hear a Song. And
did you write any Christian message songs in there? Or gospel? That's what I was trying to say. Gospel.
No.
Christian message songs? Oh my goodness.
That's
gospel.
All right.
Do you like gospel?
I like gospel, yes.
Oh, you like it because you can sing it. In my dreams, I can sing. I am like, yeah! Like,
Yes.
I make people cry in my dreams. That's how good of a singer I am.
You make people cry?
In my dreams.
No, you weren't so bad. I heard you sing before.
Okay, so the album is I
Hear a Song.
I Hear a Song. They can buy it on
iTunes, Play Store, everywhere. JB Hi-Fi, Sanity, everywhere.
And who was your muse? Noah?
My muse?
Does he look at a song and say, excuse me, is this about me?
He sometimes does. But yeah, no, I have to tell him, sweetie, not everything is about you.
I like him. Thank you so much for doing this interview. You have been on my wish list since I started this podcast nearly 4 years ago.
Wow.
And patience is not my strong suit, but I do really appreciate your time. I wish you all the best with the album and upcoming tour, and I wish you all the best in your walk with God.
Thank you. I really enjoyed our chat together and hope to talk to you again next time.
Oh, yay! You heard that. She wants to talk to me again. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.